friends, today we are going to learn the lesson that is Ishwaran the Storyteller, and it is written by a famous writer. His name is R.K. Lakshman. As we all know, R.K. Lakshman is an Indian famous cartoonist and impressionist, and many of you would have seen his cartoons in newspapers and all that. So first of all, I would like to ask you that how many of you believe in the supernatural or ghosts?
So many of you believe in ghosts?
Does anyone want to share any story or spiritual experience?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Start.
Once I was walking alone from the street of our house, so a scary dog came in front of me, and two dogs were running beside each other. So I thought ghost came and ran out.
Okay, I will tell you one smart ghost story. Short story now. So there is one highway, and on the highway there is just one house, and beside the house there is a burial ground. So in that house only two people live. One is husband and his wife. So there is nothing to do in the house, not also TV. So they get too much bored. And suddenly that husband is sitting behind the window and he spots a man coming towards their house. So what they planned, husband and wife, that as they were getting bored, they told that we will play a prank on him and you act as a ghost and we will scare him out. So the wife, she goes up to her bedroom and the man comes. So he opens the door and he comes inside. The man replies that my car is not well and I need a mechanic to fix it. So he tells that I will call a mechanic, just sit in the hall, and he brings a coffee for him. And suddenly that man's wife, she comes from outside wearing a white saree. So the man who has came, the guest, he gets scary and tells who is that. So as they were playing a prank, that husband won't tell that she is madam. She tells that there is no one there, you are seeing someone, imagining things. So as soon as she comes closer, the sweat comes out of the guest's body, and he gets too much scared out. So they both of them tell that we are playing prank on you and all that. So after some time, he tells that again my car is not well and I need a mechanic to repair it. So again they try to play a prank on him and tell him that at correct 12 o'clock I will call a ghost of mechanic and he will repair the car. So he arranges some candles and mutters some prayer. At exactly 12 o'clock the bell rings, ding dong, and as soon as he opens it, a man comes in and he is in this very hurry and calls husband and wife both out of the house and tells that please come fast, I need your help, there is an accident on the road. And as they go towards the road, they found out that in the car there is a dead body of that same man that they were playing prank on inside the house. So basically this story, Ishwaran the Storyteller, in this story is being narrated by Mahendra to a man named Ganesh. Technically Ganesh has no importance in this lesson, just theoretically in the first line his name is mentioned. So what happens, Mahendra is a young boy, young man, he is a bachelor, he is not married yet, and he works for a firm. Firm here doesn't mean standing still. Firm here means that it is a company which offers job, and so his job is a junior supervisor, means he has to supervise whatever the work is being done, and so he has to move from wherever the company has posted him. So he had odd habits of living in every kind of uncertain habitat, but he had one asset, that was his cook, that was Ishwaran, and Ishwaran uncomplainingly followed him everywhere, means he did not leave the job. Wherever he was posted, along with him he also went. And Ishwaran was just not a cook for him, he was an all-rounder. He used to wash his clothes, make food for him, and all the many odd jobs that one servant cannot do. So every day what used to happen, Ishwaran used to prepare food and Mahendra used to leave for the job. After that, Ishwaran would complete his what the works were assigned to him. So as we know that he used to do his all the works, and after that he used to go into the bathroom, and while bathing he used to sing the sort of muttering some prayers, and after that, after all the work is done, he used to read a popular Tamil thriller. Tamil thriller in sense it means suspenseful stories which were written in some Tamil language, and as he was reading that Tamil thriller, he used to get submerged inside that characters and he was not cared of what are the other surroundings are going. And every day after the dinner, what he used to do, after the dinner he used to tell to his master master one everyday one suspenseful story, and he had one peculiar habit that instead of telling something in a straightforward way, he used to make it roundabout, make it suspenseful, and then straight. For example, instead of telling that he had saw a fallen tree, he used to tell it like that. I was at the night, I was all alone, and it was a deserted road, and suddenly I found a bushy beast lying on the floor. But as soon as I went towards it, I found it was a fallen tree. So we'll take a pause here. Miss, you have to tell your experience.
इसको पूरा ऐसे छोड़ क्या हुआ संकेत नहीं तोड़ला बघूया ते
So his hand with the sword that is seen by the dividing part that they were so that people can see my place is of that so when we were playing cricket, the ball went in that place. We went there. There we found the ball and we were returning. My friend turned. We saw a hand here with a sword directly came here. The sword on the shoulder, it was having blood, but it was not red. It was of silver color, which marked with white, and white face was seen like this. Like this. And she shouted on my friend that he jumped from third floor to the down, and he did not got anything hurt. No.
Actually, this is a real life experience which makes or which questions me whether I have to believe on ghosts or not. Actually, sometimes we are known about the black magics and all. I don't know how many of you believe in it, but somewhere after my experience, I feel I have to believe it. Because the thing what I saw with my naked eye, it was really unbelievable. It was the time of summer. It was the month of May. Exactly, I don't remember the date. But it was near about 20th or 25th of May. So it was the day of summer, a very hot day. And we all siblings we were gathered to spend our vacation in my uncle's native. The place is located in Hingoli district, near to Hingoli, 18 kilometers far from the district. The thing was, all siblings, we were playing, we were enjoying our vacations. Some of siblings were from Bombay, some of them were from the nearby villages and all. And I belongs to Hingoli. So we all gathered, it was a pre-planned that we will gather there and spend our vacation. And as usual, the age, we all were on just 10 to 11 years old. And this is a story near about before 20 years. So the 20 years had passed for the story. Now the day started. It was morning. It was morning 9 o'clock. We all completed the morning work and all, whatever the things we have to do, we completed everything. And we all were ready to play. And after having breakfast, we went out of the house. We were around 8 to 10 girls. Completely busy playing, dancing, hitting, kicking, pushing, whatever the friends we all were having with them. So we all 8 to 10 siblings gathered and we decided that rather playing at home, we should go somewhere else. So it was very hot day, we were not permitted to go out. But even then, we planned very well that we should get escape from the house. As all the gents of the house were not present, they were all engaged a marriage ceremony. It was in the evening, so they were all planning for that ceremony. And all my auntie, my mama, my maternal aunt and all, they were engaged in their household work. So we skipped from there without making any noise. We went out. There was a ground. Ground in the sense it was not actually a ground. Because of summer, there was no vegetation on that on the land, and the land was very close to my uncle's house. So we all 10 of us, 9-10 girls, we all went there. We thought that we should carry our whatever the playing material is. We should carry all the things with us, and why don't we go there and play? We'll have a nice space around us. We decided that. After deciding that, we were on the way. Walking very slowly, dancing, pushing, having balls, toys and everything, whatever the material it was. We went there. We were on the way. We were walking. Some of we were having hand in hand. And we were playing. We were going. We were going towards the land. And then, what happened? There we went. I saw a tree. At the center of the place there was a tree. It was very huge, very much huge. And the branches were scattered as if they were spreaded as if they were looking like a giant. And what I saw was really unbelievable. Not a single leaf to the tree. My all siblings were engaged. They were playing. They were playing the games, whatever they were having. They were pushing, they were dancing, they all were engaged. But I was shocked to see the thing, what it was, and that too on the tree. And I was just of age, my age was just of 10 to 11 years. So my mindset was not that much prepared to recognize the thing, what it is. I was observing it. As I was observing what I saw, a lady was standing on the tree. One of the branch was of this height at the roof of our class, and one was very much low. Even if we think about the height of a lady, it might maybe up to 5 feet, 5.5, something at the most 6. But the distance was near about 10 feet. And the lady was standing like this. We all were watching from backside. We all were watching. Long black hairs, dark green sari, the traditional wear. And what was the traditional wear of what is the traditional wear of Maharashtra? It is lugda, isn't it? The same she was wearing. And it was complete, we were unable to see her face. We in the sense right now, I was only the one person who was observing the lady. They all were engaged and they were not paying attention to me what I am looking for. And I was continuously looking to that lady. As I was back of the girls, they all were in front of me. I was back of them, I was watching the tree. The tree was too scattered, the branches were too much scattered. And the lady was standing over there, long black hairs up to her thighs and the dark green color of her sari. It was really looking very horrible to see that. We all, means I was unable to speak a word. I was unable to tell them what the thing I am watching. I was just watching that. She was again standing here, holding the branches like this. But think, how come it is possible to hold a branch which is 10 feet high? Isn't it? Even though we stretch our body, it is not possible to hold it. That was the thing what I was thinking. She was holding like this, dark black color hairs like this, on dark green sari. I was observing, they all were engaged in play, holding like this. She hold it, and she turned. I was literally, when I shouted in the way, she just turned. What I saw only a particular red color, whatever the bindi we are applying, a very small. Her forehead was full of that red color kumkum. Just feel, age of 10 to 11 years, watching this thing was really unbelievable. And that was my life experience, what I was seeing. Suddenly I shouted in the way right now what I did. And all, whatever my siblings were, they turned around and saw me what I was observing. I said, only I pointed the thing. We holded hand in hand, whatever the 8-9 girls we were having. And before that, what happened, before watching this, one of my siblings was falling down without any reason. No reason was there. Her name was Leena. She was falling down. Twice we picked her. Even when she was falling, without any reason, no obstacle, no stone, nothing was there in between. We were unable to recognize what the thing was happening. She was continuously fallen down. And then afterwards I saw the woman who she was standing over the tree. This was done before. And when I made them to see the things, they too shouted in the same way. And we made they just catch hand in hand. And we ran in such a way that within fraction of seconds, we were at our home. But the way we crossed, when we were going, see all the sperms are there, I'm just getting sweated, the same condition was like that. So when we were on the way, I hold Leena in one hand and my other sibling holded her left hand and I holded her right hand. And when we were passing through that passage on the road, that particular way, her half of the body, it was on the field itself, and we were just rolling her on the ground. And she was too much stained with all the blood and all. Her knees, she was wearing a lemon yellow color frock. All the blood stains were there on her head. Even though if she got a major hurt, she might have not been injured in such a way, but she was injured in that. So that was really very suspense for us. That how come this blood stains were there on her frock? And how come she got a lot of hurt? Even we holded her. How come this was the thing happened? Within fraction of seconds, we ran away from the place, and within 10 to 15 seconds, we were at the home. Every girl was speechless. No one was able to utter a word. No one was able to speak a word. All were just behaving as if they are hypnotized. And what was it? How come we became hypnotized? Near about 10 to 15 minutes, we were speechless. We were unable to speak a word. What was this? Who was the lady? How come she can hold a 10-foot distance? How is it possible? How to believe? And how come not to believe these things? My grandfather asked me, what was the thing you observed there? I was silent. I was very silent. I was standing very idle. Not able to reply, not able to utter a single word. And then what? He gathered all the men in this village and they all tried to move from the house towards the location where we observed the things. And they all went there. What they saw? What was the thing they were seeing? Was they seeing the same what I saw? What was their recognition? What did they do there? They all were having weapons in their hand. Weapons in the sense big lathis and all with them. The lady was not at all there. She was vanished somewhere. And after that, when they came back home and when they again tried to discuss with us, every girl said, we saw her, and she was there. After some time, when they searched for all the incident what had happened, they came to know a village nearby, that small village, a lady was captured by a black magic and she was victim of that black magic. And she always used to wander the surrounding places. Even she don't know what she was doing. And even she don't know what wonders she was creating in that situation. Because that is a wonder to catch a 10 feet distance. Literally a wonder. And see, the branch was not bended. You will feel that if she jumped and hold it, and again it was no. But the distance was too big that it was unable to hold me. It is literally unable to hold. But the thing was like this. And from that day, I had such a fever. Near about 2 months, I was on the bed. I was, for first 15 days, I was not understanding what is happening with me. The same case was of Lina also, as she was falling down. And we both were injured a lot. And even then, I changed 2-3 doctors. My mama, papa changed 2-3 doctors, but I was not recovered. Whatever the things I saw, whatever the experience I had, it was really thrilling. At the age of 10 and 11. Even now, if I visit the village, I'm not dared even to look on that side. I'm not even dared to look towards the side. Because even now, I'm having that feelings and everything comes in front of me when I enter the village. I never ever try to visit the village anytime. If it is genuine, then only I go there. So this was what my life experience is. And I was not cured by the doctor again. So my grandfather again took me to a person who was playing with this all tricks, black magic and all. So he gave 2-3 threads to me. One was tied in my neck, one was tied in my hand, and a small copper material was given. It was hanged, it was tied with the black color thread which was in my neck. And it was still that next, it was with me for the next 5 years. It was really a very thrilling experience which I experienced. And it is not at all created, it is experienced. So this is my experience which I share with you.
So let's come back to the story. So until now we have seen that Ishwaran has an amazing capacity to tell stories, and one day what things happened that after the dinner again he used to tell one story to his master. Okay.
He tells that Ishwaran tells that he is from a place where timber is where we get timber, very good timber. So he tells that there are very big or very giant mammals there, so which are elephants. So what he does, he tells that, sir, do you know how an elephant behaves when he goes mad? And asking this, he told, Ishwaran starts sharing the story to Mahendra.
So the story is related that one day what happens, a mad elephant means he gets out of the control from his mahout. Mahout means one who is controlling all that elephants and all that. So after this thing happens, the elephant moves around the town, disturbs everything like a matchstick. Look for him, walls and all that are like matchstick. So after this thing, after demolishing most of the village, he came towards the school. And at that point, Ishwaran was studying in a junior class. And when the elephant came towards the school, all the boys and teachers, they ran inside the school, or some of them went on the terrace.
So as they went on terrace, one teacher had a cane. Cane means here
Bamboo cane, sugar cane.
Bamboo or a sugar cane. So he also Ishwaran also don't know that what came in Ishwaran, and he took the cane from the teacher and went on the ground in front of the elephants. The elephant was looking him red-eyed. Here red-eyed means that elephant's eye did not turn red, but he was very angry with anger. So what he was looking at him very angrily. So Ishwaran stepped towards him and took the cane, and suddenly he smashed his third toenail and suddenly after 2 minutes the elephant got paralyzed and fell down.
How many of you have seen Kung Fu Panda? You know that special move, pushing finger hole? Yes. It temporarily paralyzes the nervous system. So that is similar to this thing. And after this is over, the conclusion used to be pending. And for maintaining suspense every time, what he used to do, that telling the half story, and he used to let the conclusion remain and move on by giving some reason of anyone. In this story, what he did, instead of telling the conclusion directly, he told that now I have some work and I will go in the kitchen and make the food warm, and then again I will come back. After coming back, he used to have a habit that he would not start right from where he had left. Mahendra would have to remind Ishwaran that this was going on and the conclusion is still pending. So on the conclusion, Ishwaran speaks that it has something to do with Jiu-Jitsu or Karate in this part, and as he had read many books, so he knew about that art, Karate and Jiu-Jitsu, and he told that it paralyzes the nervous system for some time. After it, a doctor was called to revive the animal, and it was taken to jungle by a man. One day, what happened in the morning when Mahendra was leaving for the job, Ishwaran asked him that, "Sir, can I make some delicious food today to feed our ancestors?" So he tells that what is special today. He tells that today is a special auspicious day on which we prepare various delicacies to feed our ancestors' soul. That means he is involving the account of supernatural here.
He thinks that giving good food to the souls of their ancestors will keep them calm and they will not harm them. So as Mahendra agrees, he makes very good food at night.
So after enjoying the most delicious food, Mahendra was still enjoying the daydreams of that delicious food, and after that, as every day used to tell a story, he starts a story related to supernatural, and he tells that, "Sir, do you know that where we are staying and the entire factory area was once a burial ground. Burial ground means where people are buried or burned after they are dead. So this makes little bit fear created inside in the mind of Mahendra, and he tells him again that this area is fully surrounded of ghosts, and I am not frightened. I am not frightened of any ghost, but there is one ugly creature which looks like a skeleton having a fetus in its arm, and that scares Ishwaran the most.
So have you seen any ghosts like a woman in a white saree? It looks like that. So we'll see a video related to it.
Why do we see ghosts?
If you believe the dead can return to haunt the living, you're not alone. According to one poll, 45% of Americans believe in ghosts, and 28% claim to actually have seen a ghost. They show up in our movies,
I see dead people,
books, and Bone Thugs and Harmony music videos. As far back as we can trace human life, there's evidence that almost every culture has expressed curiosity about what comes after. Many people believe in them, but is there actually any proof that ghosts exist? I went to Buffalo, New York to talk to Joe Nickel, a paranormal investigator who's been trying to answer that question for almost 50 years.
I'm the world's only full-time, salaried, professional, science-based paranormal investigator. I'm looking to explain a case, not debunk it, not promote it, explain it.
Nickel is a true Renaissance man, drawing from a wide variety of disciplines for his cases.
I mean, at one time or another, I've used linguistic analysis. I've used blood pattern analysis, psychological insights. Nearly anything could be used if it would illuminate a particular case.
So in the hundreds of cases over his half-century of investigation, has he ever found anything that would make him believe in ghosts?
Not only have I never found a single case that I thought was proof of a ghost, neither has science. Not a single ghost or haunting has been authenticated by science.
Part of what makes it difficult to investigate is all the different ways people have defined ghosts. Books flying off of a shelf? Ghost. Orbs in photos? Ghost. Mysterious footsteps in the attic? Ghost. Patrick Swayze seductively helping you throw a vase? Definitely ghost. All of the would-be evidence that ghosts exist consists of ambiguous photographs, videos.
The next day, his HD TV literally begins rocking violently from side to side all by itself,
and first-hand accounts.
Even if it's during the day, there's this eerie feeling that you get that there's someone there.
Which, while fun and spooky, are not exactly scientific proof. Ghost hunters often use gadgets such as EMF meters, a tool that measures electromagnetic fields, which ghosts can supposedly manipulate. But nobody's been able to explain exactly what the link is, and most scientists are pretty skeptical of this stuff. So there might not be any empirical scientific evidence that shows that ghosts exist, but that doesn't actually mean that you're crazy if you think you see one. There are plenty of logical explanations for paranormal experiences. One is infrasound, a sound that falls below the audible 20 Hz frequency. Infrasound can be produced by many things, including severe weather, humpback whales, or certain machinery like engines or fans. Researchers have hypothesized that exposure to infrasound can induce feelings of depression, chills, and the sense that somebody's presence is near you. The sound can even cause visual hallucinations.
At the frequency of 18 hertz, it resonates with the structure of the human eyeball. And if you have a sound that resonates with something material, it'll make the material vibrate at that frequency. And when that happens to you, your eye begins to see things that are in fact not there.
Swiss scientists have also been able to simulate a ghost in a lab. They made a robot that mimics the movement of the subject's hands with a mechanical arm that touches your back, but with a slight delay. When you delay the movement, it creates an unmistakable sensation for subjects that there's a ghostly presence in the room.
This time it really felt like I was playing with something, so it wasn't myself that was poking me in the back, but it was as if I was playing with an animal, a monkey that was poking me in the back or something like that.
While most ghost sightings can't be written off as a robot poking your back, this experiment does highlight how manipulating certain parts of your brain can produce what researcher Olaf Blank calls misperceived self-representation, which can easily be misconstrued as a ghostly presence. Sometimes even just a person's state of consciousness can make them feel or see presences.
We can actually have people see ghosts, and those tend to be waking dreams that occur in the twilight between being fully asleep and fully awake.
These kind of waking dreams can also be called sleep paralysis, which about 8% of people experience at some point in their lifetime. You feel like you're awake, but you're unable to move your body, and it's often accompanied by terrifying visuals like shadows, people, or even monsters, which, if you didn't know what was happening, would be easy to confuse for having seen a ghost. Another possible explanation for ghostly sightings is grief. One study found that up to 60% of people that lose a spouse claim to see or hear their dead loved ones. In his book about hallucinations, neurologist Oliver Sacks said that seeing the face of a deceased loved one can actually help you cope with your grief.
This sort of hallucination is not frightening. It's often very comforting. It seems to be part of the mourning process, and it really, a sudden hole has been left in one's life, and this helps it to heal over.
There is no question that most of the paranormal promotes something very positive. There are a few exceptions, but all have to do with our hopes and our fears. We're hopeful that ghosts exist because then we don't really die. Our loved ones are not gone from us. They are real and alive. I remember when my grandmother died and how much I did not want that to be the case. But the ghost idea, the idea that we just get up out of our bodies and continue on, is powerful. Because who doesn't have an instance in which he or she would say, I just wish I could have told my mother this one thing. Or I wish my father knew I wasn't really mad at him that time.
So ghosts may not actually exist, but that doesn't mean that you might not see one.
I was out doing a delivery one late night. It was probably the longest drive I have ever taken for a pizza delivery. From the pizza place I worked at, it was a 20-minute drive, which isn't too crazy out where I live. Plus, they ordered 4 large pies, so I figured it was a party and I would get a much bigger tip. Navigating the dirt roads at night was always annoying though. I pulled up to the given address. It was some old, sketchy-looking building, literally in the middle of a forest clearing. There were no cars parked anywhere, or any lights on. I put my car in park and called my boss. I asked him to reread the address at least 3 times to make sure I typed it in right, but that checked out. I could tell he was in a really bitchy mood, and he told me to at least knock on the door and check it out. He would normally get mad if we took back 1 pie, but I was afraid of what he would do if I brought back 4. I was insanely unnerved, but got out anyway and forced myself to the front door of the building. There was no doorbell, so I just knocked really hard. I heard nothing and didn't really expect to hear anything. I was extremely disappointed, not because nobody answered the door, but because I was realizing that it was all a waste of time and gas. I knocked one more time out of desperation, and then began to hear some kind of rustling noises from inside of the building. I knocked again and yelled that I was the pizza guy. There was silence now. I felt a bit more uncomfortable now than before. But before I could turn around, I noticed something at the window. There was someone looking through the window. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. All I noticed were their eyes. Their eyes were open wider than I knew possible, staring intently at me. I was disturbed enough by this and dropped the pizzas and ran back to my car. The shitty thing wouldn't start until turning the key for the 3rd time. I drove off the grass and back onto the dirt road, but I felt the car rocking about, shaking and bumping. Something wasn't right. I didn't make it far from the building before I started hearing a sharp scraping sound coming from outside. There was so much resistance that I couldn't even drive. The car came to a stop. I got out of the car to check what the hell was wrong. A chill ran up my spine as I began to feel like my heart was constantly skipping beats. My tires had been slashed and had completely fallen off the rim. Not just the front though. All 4 tires were slashed. I realized somebody did this when I was knocking on the door to that building. Instead of running, I got back in the car and locked the doors. I was so close to that building, I could practically see it from where I was, if it weren't for the trees blocking the view. I dialed 911 and explained everything to the operator. She told me the cops would be over as soon as possible and that I need to stay hidden. I asked her if it was advisable to stay in the car or run, and she told me it would be best to stay in the car with the door locked. She asked me to stay on the line with her until the cops arrived. My whole body was shaking. In all directions, there was nothing but dark, seemingly endless forest. I knew it would take forever for the cops to get there. I was not comfortable with sitting in that car so close to whoever did this. The next part, though, is what utterly destroyed me. It still shakes me to this day, and I hope nobody ever has to experience this kind of fear. As I was scanning all the windows, making sure nobody was outside, I looked in the rearview mirror, and there was the same person I saw at that window. Eyes open wider than ever. I could see now that it was a woman, and I could ever so slightly see a smile begin to spread across her face. I opened my door and full-on sprinted into the woods, not caring how much noise I made. I ran until I was out of breath, which didn't take long, and I hid behind a giant log on the ground. I tried to cover my loud breathing with my hand, as I waited and waited for what felt like hours, until I finally heard sirens in the distance. I gathered up all the stamina I had left to run all the way back in the direction of the dirt road. Eventually, the glowing red and blue lights came into view, and I had never felt better in my life. They were parked in front of my car, investigating with flashlights. I came out yelling at them like a lunatic to help me. I fell to the floor and started to gag, almost throwing up from running so much. They picked me up and began to question me, to which I explained everything to the best of my ability. One of the two cars drove over to the building, and the two officers began to search the building. They came back with nothing except for a couple of spiky objects. These objects were exactly the same as the ones used to slash my tires. The cops guessed that it was some kind of sick, demented couple, being that I saw the woman, but unfortunately they were never found, and that still kills me to this day. I obviously quit my job right after that and started working at a local grocery store. I know that I'll never forget seeing that woman at the back of my car.
Let's continue to our story.
After that incident, what happened that Mahendra had a peculiar habit of looking throughout the window every day when the moon was full. But as Ishwaran had told him the story that a woman, ghost of a woman carrying a fetus in his arm roams around when the moon is full. So from that day, what he used to do, instead of seeing, he just used to sleep inside the house. One day, while he was sleeping, it was a full moon night, and suddenly he heard some close moaning sound. Moaning sound here refers to sounds made by supernatural ghosts. So as he listens to it, first he thinks that it is being made by a cat. So he thinks that a cat is growling for mice. But after some time, the voice becomes too guttural. Guttural means produced into the throat, and he feels very much scared out of the as he hears the voice, he becomes tempted to see what is going on. But after some time, it gets too much scary, and as soon as he gets up, he sees a cloudy form having a bundle in his hand, which it is resembling to a ghost which was narrated by Ishwaran to him, as it was looking like a woman carrying a fetus in its arm. So a cold sweat broke out, and at that night he slept. But in the morning, as we all do, most of the nights what we do, we don't remember it. So Mahendra had also forgotten what had happened last night. But when he came from his room, Ishwaran told that, "Sir, do you believe it now? As you have seen yesterday by your eyes." So that's it. Here we conclude the lesson. Now, as the story is incomplete, we have to think of many possible endings. First possibility is that Ishwaran is himself a ghost, because as he was knowing that, how could he know that yesterday he saw that same thing? Second possibility, Ishwaran was only playing prank on him by fixing someone, taking other one with him, and he was playing prank on that Mahendra. Or other possibilities could have been that Mahendra and Ishwaran, that both were tired. This is the most appropriate possibility that what we think. Mahendra and Ishwaran, as they both were in an isolate landscape, so they were getting bored, and they might have, as for resigning the job, we need some type of valid reason or credible reason. But as they were not being research, so they produced. As after it is mentioned in the story that after this they went there. He went to his office and gave his resignation papers. So it is the most appropriate. Possibility that both of them were not happy with the job and they wanted to leave the job. So they had played a prank.
Stop it.